Welcome to the Gear Slum, your one-stop shop for all things guitar culture nonsense. I'm Aaron.
I'm Phil.
And I'm Cole.
We slum it hard, so you don't have to. I think not doing it might have been funnier than doing it this time.
Well, even though this is over Zoom, I know you were looking directly at me. You paused and you were looking at me, and I knew what you had in your mind.
It's in my mind. I was trying to twist some words in my mind. There were no words to be twisted, so I twisted some numbers.
And hand motions. You twisted some hand
mostly
motions.
just the motions.
Aaron, you know what I want to hear about?
No.
I want to hear about the concert you went to.
Oh, dude, you went to the same one.
I know, and we never talked about it. I don't think, did we?
Oh, was it? I think you went after.
Oh, yeah,
last time
maybe
we
so.
recorded.
After we recorded last.
Yeah, it's been more than a couple weeks, I think. Yeah, so Sunday night, I met up with Steve Rao from 60 Cycle Hum, and he and I, along with some other dudes, my buddy. So,
Just guys being dudes.
We met up with my friend Mike, who I hadn't thought about this, but so we went to high school together, and we kind of like had a lot of friends in common, and we knew each other a little bit. But the last 2 or 3 years ago, we kind of reconnected on Facebook and stuff, and he has a podcast called The Punk Tree. But anyway, so we met up with him, and I didn't even think about it, but we literally haven't seen each other in 20 years.
Oh, geez.
Actually 20 years. So it was him and then his brother-in-law, the four of us, and we saw Manchester Orchestra. And I had forgotten about this, but so 2 or 3 years ago, probably 2.5 years ago, I knew this dude who posted about Manchester Orchestra all the time, and I had never listened to them. I just assumed they were some pop punk band because he was into Knuckle Puck and other pop punk bands like that. So I was like, whatever, I don't care about Manchester Orchestra. But then Mike posted about it, so I was like, hey, are these guys actually good? And he was like, yeah, you should check out Black Mile to the Surface. And I did, and I loved it. So he's actually the one that got me to give them a chance. But yeah, it was freaking cool. It was such a good show.
I love this story.
Yeah, it's a good story.
So I was first made aware of Manchester Orchestra weirdly through Comedy Bang Bang.
Okay.
Did we already talk about this?
It must have been you who was telling me this. I don't think anyone else would have the exact same story.
Probably not. But they were the musical guest
Yeah.
on this episode, and it just so happened to be, I just looked it up, and it was 2017. It was July 24th of 2017. And it just so happened to be I had just gone to Lake Powell that week, so there was zero cell phone reception for a whole week. So you're kind of you kind of have what you have on your phone to listen to. So I ended up listening to this. It was just Andy Hull, who's the lead singer, and then the guitarist guy, just doing an acoustic version of The Gold and The Alien. And they're so freaking good. And so I probably listened to them 50 times that week, And then, so yeah, that was Black Mile to the Surface, which that's my favorite album of theirs too, even though I think all their other albums are really good. But yeah, they
Yeah, I was happy
totally
they
hooked.
played a bunch of songs off of that album. Dude,
Yeah.
Speaking of the Alien, so we were there, right? We're watching the show, and they start the intro to the Alien,
Yeah.
and he gets halfway through the first verse, and this group of people. So we're not close, but we could see really well. It's it's a really good venue. But anyway, the people are halfway between us and the stage. This group of hands goes up, and people start yelling, "Help!" They're like, "Help! Help!"
Jeez.
And so Andy stops the song. He sees them, and he's like, "Whoa, stop!" they need some help up here. And so like everyone spreads out, and some dude had like passed out, I think.
Yeah,
I don't know if he was like drunk or high or probably both. These guys.
It's like so interesting because that's always been a thing, like especially at punk shows. Like when someone goes down in the pit, you help them up and stuff like that. But it's like, especially now after the Travis, whoever is it, Travis Scott?
And Travis Scott. But there's like not even a pit. Like no one's really dancing.
Oh, totally. It's just
like a
like
bunch of old dudes.
Yeah, you're just like standing there.
Yeah. This dude probably was just like, on something and got dehydrated or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's crazy. So then
Taylor's oldest time.
I was like, this is my favorite song. And then help.
So did they start it over?
Yeah, they started it over. And then they did like a weird little, the little outro thing of another song. It's freaking cool.
It's crazy, like, because their first couple CDs are very, like, hard, especially Cope is just, like, kind of punk.
It's pretty, like, the music's really in your face.
And Black Metal the Surface is not, and yet somehow, like, the sound is very consistent when they play it live.
Yeah, it sounds
really like the sound, and part of that depends on the venue and everything, but, yeah, it was great. So when I went and saw them, go ahead.
No, I was going to say I was actually super impressed with the sound because it wasn't, like, loud.
Yeah, totally.
Like, it wasn't, like, it's never like, oh, man, this is really loud.
Yeah, I didn't even have earplugs
like
in.
Yeah.
Which is weird for me.
It sounded amazing.
So, yeah. And honestly, the same. Okay, so this show, I took my 13-year-old son with me, which is like, for one thing, I'm not like some kind of great parent or something like that, but like being a 13-year-old kid and getting to go to a show like that, that's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
Other than the fact that he couldn't see as well as, he probably wanted to for a lot of the show, but I found a pretty good spot where he could see pretty well. Because it's just standing. Well, and the only other concert he had been to was 21 Pilots, and we had like these fancy seats because my friend worked at the arena, and but we were sitting, and I must not have mentioned it to him, but he was not expecting to be standing the whole time, and he was not thrilled about that.
Oh, really?
No, his back he said his back was hurting by the end and stuff. But,
I love it.
But I think he enjoyed it. I was like I was like worried about him the whole time, just trying to make sure he had a good time and good memory and all that stuff. But yeah, the concert itself was freaking amazing. They sounded great. His voice sounds great. Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, he did what seemed like an impromptu version of a Bad Book song. Like in the middle, he's like, "Oh, last time I was in San Diego, I played the song and it was really good. So is it cool if I play another song right now?" Like, okay. I'm gonna say no.
Oh, interesting.
So it was cool. I didn't know that song, but I just looked it up on the set list. I was like, "Oh, sweet." 42. Do you know that song? Do you know Bad Books?
A little bit.
That's him and someone else, right? Do you know who's
the
other guy?
I've listened to both of his other bands a little bit, but because he's also in what?
Oh, Right Away Great Captain, is that?
Yes.
Yeah.
But not a ton though.
Yeah. I wasn't familiar. I've just seen.
Yeah. No, and we ended up leaving before the encore too, which I think was just going to be too not like my son was just kind of done, so I figured I don't know. I knew what songs they were going to play. It was going to be what?
They played $100 and The Silence at ours, but I think they were like,
oh, they played The Silence?
That was the closer, yeah.
Dude, if they closed with Silence and I missed it, I'll be very disappointed.
I don't think they were doing it at every show.
No, they weren't. The show leading up to
Shake It Out. They were doing Shake It Out a bunch.
Yeah, see, Shake It Out, which is like a good song, but it's not like... If they did The Silence and I missed it, I would be very disappointed.
Yeah. I would have been sad if they didn't play The Silence.
Well, that's like been their closer for a while, I think. And so I was kind of disappointed when I saw... Because the tour just barely started. Salt Lake was like the third date. So there wasn't like a ton. And I don't know. What do you think about going and looking up set lists before a show?
I did it. I don't think it matters. Like, it won't affect my enjoyment of the show.
Yeah.
Well, I think in some ways it's like maybe even better because like if you're expecting them to play a song and you're just waiting for it the whole time and they don't.
Because honestly, if I hadn't looked it up, I would have stayed for the encore and expected them to close with silence, and they wouldn't have, and I would have been really disappointed.
Yeah.
So it can spoil it a little bit, but your set list looks actually fairly different from the one they had been playing.
It seems like similar to what they were playing for the last few days, but I think they changed it up like
yeah, maybe so.
In the middle.
So they started in. It's so weird. They start in Kansas City. I guess that kind of makes sense. Kansas City, Denver, and then Salt Lake. So Salt Lake was like the third date on that tour.
Yeah, it was a great show.
So yeah, it was an awesome show. The sound was great. And then 2 weeks before that, which I also didn't talk about, I went and saw Dinosaur Jr., which
how was
maybe
that?
of even more interest to all the guitar nerds that listen to this podcast, not the other podcast that has a similar name to that, but it was amazing. And honestly, it was funny. So I went with
is he a Dinosaur Jr. fan?
Yes.
Who's that?
Always has been. Jeffrey Klug.
Oh, really?
Friend of the show. High school friend of me.
Phil. Oh.
No, friend of the show, high school friend of me.
Friend of Phil's high school.
My wife just brought me some meats and cheeses to eat.
Fine meats and cheeses.
When you say meats and cheeses, it sounds like you're doing a Jar Jar Binks impression.
Meats and cheeses.
Meats and cheeses.
So Dinosaur Jr.
Wait, what impression did you say?
Jar Jar Binks.
Jar Jar Binks.
Oh, I was doing Borat.
Misa.
No.
Misa cheeses.
Oh, me.
Those are offensive in different ways. Dinosaur Jr. is funny because the guy I went with the guy I normally go to concerts with, you know.
Yeah.
And he wasn't. He had just been listening to Dinosaur Jr. a little bit, so he wasn't super familiar with him. But, you know, they played. Set list was really good. It's funny they actually ended with Just Like Heaven,
The Cure,
like the
song?
Cure. Yeah,
Weird.
which I thought was kind of like, I don't know. It's kind of a cool move to be like, I don't know.
Close with the cover song.
it's not arrogant, right? Like, because Dinosaur Jr. is a big band,
Yeah.
and they're just like, well, we're just going to do a fun cover that everyone's going to enjoy or whatever. But his guitar is like, first of all, it sounds incredible. Like,
What's his setup?
Was he
I mean, it's like
playing Jazz
pretty
Master?
famous at this point. He has those 3 full stacks. He has the purple one, the one that's like super ratty, like beat up and everything.
Mm.
But they're just like 3 full stack Marshall, you know, I don't know what they are, but like big old, you know, probably plexi kind of heads.
Yeah.
And they're around him. Like you've seen that, haven't you, Phil? Jay Mascis.
I'm sure I have. I mean,
That's why I posted that picture,
Yeah.
and I was like, I went to see some random band before he
Oh,
was
yeah,
out
yeah.
there. Because it's like very well known, very recognizable. And which makes it really loud if you're up close, right?
Mhm.
But once you're back
Right.
in the audience a little ways, you're really just hearing what's coming from the PA. And it was crazy how, like, I wore ear protection for a lot of it, but like the guy that I went with was saying, like, I don't know how that wasn't like fatiguing to listen to. It sounds, his guitar tone sounds harsh when you listen to it.
Mhm.
Or it sounds very loud, you know, but it's actually not. Like the way that he's mixed with the bassist is like amazing. He has like an amazing tone for what he's doing, you know.
Mm.
And so it wasn't like fatiguing to listen to, even though it's like very like muff, you know, he has like super compressed big muff stuff, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
That's like his signature sound or whatever. So yeah, it was awesome.
That's very cool.
And he's
I
like,
feel like I would enjoy them, but I don't know enough of their music to like know what I would expect them to play or not play.
totally. No, you would enjoy the show though.
Yeah.
Well, because also like they're the kind of band that like like their stuff sounds, when they're playing it live, it all sounds more similar in style than it does when you're listening to it on the record,
right.
because it's just the 3 of them up there and they only have so many
Yeah.
sounds they can make or whatever. The bassist in that band is pretty interesting. He plays like really distorted sometimes, and he's almost like, he kind of plays the bass like a rhythm guitar a lot of times.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's kind of the hole he's filling in the band, I
Yeah.
guess, a lot of times. So it's a lot of times it feels like there's 4 people in the band when there's not. But at any rate, so yeah, that show
Lou
was
Barlow,
great.
right? That's their bassist.
Yeah. And the drum, I don't know why I thought this was funny, but the drummer was just wearing a Reverb shirt.
Oh, really?
Just said Reverb on it. Yeah. Like that he got at NAMM or something. I don't know.
I'm sure.
That Reverb
yeah.
sent him.
It's like,
But yeah,
it was. They probably
was
like,
really
we'll give
good.
you like $10,000 if you, I don't know, wear this shirt. All tour.
Yeah. And the opener was really good too. I'm trying to remember what they were called. It was basically just. Well, now I'm mixing it up in my head. I didn't really like the opener for Manchester Orchestra that much.
Who played?
Personally.
Was it the Foxing? Did they play at your?
Oh yeah, I did.
Or was there 2 openers?
There was 2 openers. The Foxing did play.
Michigander. Did they play?
Yes.
All right.
One of them that was like a really, almost like glam rock a little bit,
Oh, okay.
right? Like really high pitched vocals. One of them I liked and one of them I didn't. I can't remember which one was which.
We didn't see either of them.
Oh, you didn't? Okay.
Yeah, we showed up like right in time for Manchester. We got carried away talking about things. Hanging out.
Talking about things.
Yeah, I mean, we got a couple drinks before.
Oh, I thought you were talking about this podcast.
Yeah, during this podcast, I got carried away talking.
We got carried away talking about a couple things. That is every podcast, I think.
No, but so we were talking about it. Like it was funny because it was like, okay, we all are
Oh, Pink.
podcasters.
The
whatever.
Pink Mountaintops are the band that opened for him, and they were really good.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, sorry for Dinosaur Jr. That is.
So we were talking about like guitar pedals because, and we were at one point it's like figure out what one pedal that one dude's had. I don't remember the name of it, and I was like, "This feels like they guessed that ball game." And he goes, "I love that. It's so I could listen to that for hours." Like, oh, very cool.
Dude,
Someone
that's so
that
funny.
podcast that is so it was really funny.
Okay, Aaron, you might want to turn off your video because we're only getting about every other word, unless it's me. It's not me, is it?
No,
Phil?
I am also
Okay.
only getting every other.
But we got the fact that you were saying you were talking about a pedal,
Oh yeah,
and then you were trying to think of the name, and you said, "Oh, I could listen to this for hours."
yeah.
It's like
That's
the Guess
pretty
That
much
Pedal
it.
game,
That's the end.
which is very rewarding.
Yeah, not for me personally, but it means nothing to me. No, I kid.
It kind of feels like a personal attack, honestly.
Yeah, it really did. I also asked him if he thought because he said he has like every Nunebur pedal, and I asked him if he thought they were
What?
complicated. And
Not
he
complicated, but if their marketing
Confusing.
was confusing.
Said, yeah, it's like, are they confusing? He said no. So the only one he was confused by was the like expression controller. So sorry. The Lord giveth and the Lord taketh away, Phil.
No. This proves nothing.
I didn't say it proves anything.
He also said a tortilla is an essential part of a breakfast burrito, so essential, in fact, that it's not even worth mentioning when you're talking about ingredients.
Yeah. You only mention the tortilla if you're like excluding it or replacing it for some reason.
Yeah.
That's that. Oh, really?
Yeah, there's a reason you call it a burrito bowl, but you don't have to say burrito wrap because
Yeah.
the wrap is implied.
It's like if you say, what do you like on your burgers? Bun, first of all, bread around it.
Yeah. You guys want some pizza? Yeah, get pizza, but make sure it has crust. I like pizza with crust. Yeah, no duh. It's like if you were like
These are. Wait, hang on.
it's like if you were
These are
talking
some-
about podcasts and you felt the need to mention that this one has a middle-aged white dude as a host.
Hi-yo.
These are really compelling arguments, and I think you've really convinced me. You've really turned me around. Psych.
Oh, I'll turn you around.
Ew.
Turn this whole car around.
Oh, okay. So, do you guys want to know what show I've been watching lately?
Yeah.
It's a little show on TLC. You want to guess what TLC show it is?
Is it Intervention?
Is it one with little people?
I've always been watching Intervention.
Hoarders?
And I do still watch Intervention. And I have watched a decent amount of Hoarders in my life.
Little people.
It doesn't even involve little people.
Is it like
very large
moms?
people?
Quite the opposite, in fact. Yes.
Very large
my
people.
600-pound life?
It is my 600-pound life. Man, that show. It's pretty sad.
Yeah.
I say that as I'm eating into the microphone.
I was gonna say, Cole.
like, every one of
I
our viewers is...
I hate to be that person, but please,
But like
do not chew.
It's
Please do not edge you into the
it's crazy that it's like it has its own like Intervention is mostly drug addiction, right? Or alcoholism.
Mm-hmm.
And then they have My Strange
That's
Addiction.
It's just those two. It's drugs or alcohol, and then the strange one is just like
Not necessarily. So some of the earlier Intervention episodes had different stuff. In fact, that's where like Hoarders started. Was an Intervention episode that was about hoarding.
Oh, would it be like anorexia, bulimia?
Yeah,
That
like
might
some of
be-
that. Yes. There were eating
Okay.
disorders early on. But yeah, then it basically like then My Strange Addiction took that piece over for the most part. And that was I sent you guys a video of this woman who was addicted to being stung by bees.
Yeah.
Oh, I
And it
never
was-
saw the video that you sent. I didn't know.
I mean,
I
it's
don't
like
think I
not
watched
like
it either, but
it's not super worth watching, but it is very funny. Like, first of all, like her. Oh, I want to go back and find because there were some pretty funny quotes from it.
the thing that you said about it has kind of been haunting me.
Oh,
That
what was
the
it?
woman, you said the woman is really annoyed, seems really annoyed that her husband is so bothered by this.
Totally.
I can't stop thinking about that sentence.
Yeah,
What?
but like,
Yes.
it's
He
super
thinks
weird,
it's
right?
Weird.
But
It
it's
is
also
weird.
like, who's okay? So here we go. Yeah, and her husband makes her go to the doctor, and she's so annoyed by it. And her actual
she, like,
quote
makes them sting her.
Yeah, so she has them like in
Where
like
did
little
she get them?
jars or something. I don't know, from beekeepers
Oh my
or something.
gosh.
And then she like picks them up with tweezers and like
Yeah,
holds them against her
weird.
skin until they sting her.
Oh my gosh.
And one actual quote was, "This is her talking. Bee stings aren't for everybody, but they work for me. They work."
What the?
And another hilarious point. So the whole thing is just like super weird. And she's like, I do feel guilty because they die, right? Like
Because-
the bees, get it? Because they die. But it's like, it's a bee. But then if you go read the comments on the video, holy crap, everybody is like outraged because she's killing these bees, and it's like a couple every day, like a handful every day or something.
Mm.
Oh,
And apparently,
how much time?
Bee Movie. I never saw a Bee Movie. It's supposed to be a great feat of modern cinema.
I've never seen B movie, but I've seen A movie.
Oh,
I for some reason, young people are kind of obsessed with B movie.
apparently, well, just as a joke though, as like a meme.
Sort of, but also not.
But
'Cause,
but
yes.
apparently, like a lot of it, it's almost like it has like an agenda. Like the whole point of Bee Movie is that bees are very important for the world, and like they
It's just
serve
like
this
a
very
big-
use.
big
So apparently,
hunting
all these
propaganda.
people in the comments like bought into the Bee Movie propaganda,
go.
hook, line, and sinker.
They're all
And they were pissed
Gen
off that
Zers.
she was killing all these
Hook, line,
bees,
and
and
stinger.
and they were like, they were like, it rips out their guts, and it's such an inhumane, because when a bee stings
Yeah.
you,
Yeah.
the stinger comes out, and it basically
Yeah,
like kind
yeah.
of pulls its
Yeah,
guts out.
its entrails become its outrails.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. But it is. She goes to a doctor, and the doctor's like, you probably shouldn't sting yourself with bees every day. Like, that's pretty freaking weird, you know? Like, but he's like, he
like,
can't
"Ew."
point to anything. And then he's like, well, one thing to consider is that people can develop allergies. So, like, you could wake up someday and be allergic. But at the same time, like, she seems like she is the least likely to become allergic to bees because she's now been building up a resistance to it over the last however many years by stinging herself every day. In fact, she's going to end up in like a Princess Bride scenario and have to like sting herself a bunch of times and she'll be ready for it, you know?
Yeah, if she was like in Thomas J's shoes, she'd be fine.
Exactly. Is that the kid from My Girl?
Yeah.
Oh my
She ever
gosh.
finds herself
Yeah,
in
the
looking?
mic
If she ever
girl.
loses a mood ring out in the
Dude,
forest,
she'll be set.
she'll be good.
She'll like go out there. She'll just be like, it'll be like the rapture for her. So,
She
but
might
man,
die
my 600-pound life,
Ecstasy.
and it's always like it's just like with intervention or any of those addiction shows. There are some cases where the person who they're like intervening on seems like kind of a crappy person, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But the vast majority of them, it's like trauma that they suffered, and this is like, you know,
It's
and
them
so-
reacting to something.
yeah, and it's like they're ultimately the victim, you know, and then their family is like this one lady, man, she was molested a bunch. Her mom kind of let it happen, and then she was trying to talk to her mom about it now, like in the show as they're filming it.
Yeah.
And the mom's like, "Oh, I guess she's like, I just gotta go. I can't take this anymore. I guess I'm just a bad mom." And like, you know, just
you
like,
are.
and it's like, yes, you're literally like the worst. Like you're an objectively bad mother, and you should feel bad. So it's pretty rough, but it motivates me to lose weight. So
Well, Bill,
And-
I guess
and
we
it's-
can cancel our intervention.
it's all you can cancel your fat intervention. It reminds me of Teen Mom so my 600-pound life, I don't know like all the story behind it because there's a couple different doctors. For a long time it was Dr. Now, and he's this guy he seems like he's from Eastern Europe somewhere. His name is like Nawarski or something, Nauzarskin or something, but he has like this really thick accent, and he does bariatric surgery. So the idea is they find these people to come on the show, and then, you know, they try to lose a bunch of weight, and then at some point, because they're trying to lose enough weight to kind of qualify for weight loss surgery.
Right. Because you have to like prove that you're.
But he's like pretty strict, you know. And it's crazy. The people would come in, and it reminds me of Teen Mom when people would be like, I don't know how we got pregnant. And it's like, well, there's only one way, guys.
Well, that's
And
not
they'll
true.
be like, I don't know. I think they'll be like, well, last time you weighed in, you were 650 pounds, but this time you're 660 pounds. And they're like, well, I think it's just water weight. And it's like, and he's like, 600 pounds worth of water? He's like, how much water do you drink? And he's like, he can be kind of brutal sometimes, but but yeah, it's crazy how even with something that's so, they're like, I really don't eat more than a normal person. And it's like, you can't like,
Well, you do though.
you can't weigh 600 pounds if you don't. Like, it's just such basic, you know, chemistry or biology or whatever.
It's freaking math is
Yeah,
really what
like
it
it's
is.
so, yeah. But that's where that, I pay my bills. My bills are paid.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Remember that? So that she is kind of like the most popular. Her name's Tammy, and her sister were on that show for a long time, which it's not a good sign if you're on the show for a long time, because it means you didn't like meet your goals, because then you move on with your life or whatever. But yeah, they're entertaining to watch, but it's because they're like very, you know, poorly adjusted and very immature and everything. But at any rate. So I'm sorry I haven't watched any Judge Judy for everybody, but
It's all right.
Oh man,
if you want to
It's
know
all
about
right.
lymphedema, I could tell you about that.
Is she one of the people on the show too?
That's
what
messed up.
was the name?
lymphedema.
Lympha.
Lymphedema. That sounds like a Tyler Perry movie, doesn't it?
Yeah.
What are all
The-
what's the real lady
Medea.
name?
Medea is the one I was thinking of, probably.
Yeah.
And it's like Medea goes.
It's like Ernest,
like
Medea goes to jail.
Yeah, Medea goes to jail. Medea, yeah.
Yeah.
Medea scared stupid.
Medea scared stupid.
Medea Saves Christmas.
Man.
I think there was a Medea Saves Christmas.
Yeah, there was.
They both.
But
Christmas.
it is crazy though, because you think about okay, addiction starts to ruin. Like drug addiction makes it so you basically just can't have a job or whatever.
Yeah.
There are ways that affects your life, but like to get to a point where you just couldn't walk, or like this doctor is located in Houston, and so some of the patients will like try and apply and stuff like that, and then they're like they don't have a way to physically get to Houston.
Yeah.
Like they can't fly. They can't like fit in a car. They would come in an ambulance. There's this one guy who kept like calling the ambulance to go to his office. And the doctor would get so pissed at him and eventually called the cops on him and stuff, because he was basically calling the ambulance and making the ambulance come pick him up and then take him to this weight loss guy's office to try and get weight loss surgery. And he weighed like 800 pounds or whatever,
Oof.
Man, that's really sad.
And it's also brutal because like with intervention, maybe they do this more now, but it's like pretty rare for it to be like, you see it happen, but where it's like, at the end of the show, they'll do, like they'll say it was 6 months later, they left rehab or whatever, or they're still doing good or something. Once in a while, there'll be somebody who died of an overdose or something like that. But with my 600-pound life, like these people, like a lot of them die like pretty soon after the show if they don't lose any weight, because your body just can't be that big for very long, So anyways, is that a fun thing to talk about on our podcast about guitar stuff?
I think so.
So fun.
So guys, try not to be hyper obese. Like some of them have BMIs over 100. And this guy, Dr. Now, is interviewed, like talking to this guy when he first came in. He's like, your BMI is 112. What do you think is the normal range? He's like, I don't know, like 60. He's like, 15 to 20. He's like, oh. Wow. He was like laughing and stuff, but he's like, ooh. So it's pretty good.
What are there success stories?
Yeah, totally.
Like long term.
Yeah. There's this one guy, he wanted to be a musician and moved to Nashville, and he got down under 200 pounds. It was kind of crazy because he had it seemed like he didn't have much weight left to lose, and he still weighed like 220 pounds, but most of it was just skin. So that is kind of like later. So like they're trying to qualify for the weight loss surgery, and then after a while they get down so low that they kind of have to qualify for skin removal surgery,
Yeah. Okay. I've wondered about that. Like, if you lose weight slowly, then do you not need that, or is it like no? You need if you're super
once
big,
you're a certain size, like you have.
Yeah, once you're a certain size, and I'm sure it has something to do with like how young you are, and also like how long you were that big. Like if if you're big your entire life versus if you kind of ballooned up later in life or something like that. But yeah, pretty much everybody. I mean, because everyone on the show is 600 or is over 600 pounds. I can't imagine being that big and not needing and not having a ton of extra skin when you lose the weight, But I'm sure there's other factors too. Like just like genetics, right? Because some people, their faces the skin on their faces basically just goes back to normal. And some people, when they lose a lot of weight, it makes them look a lot older because their face ends up having like more wrinkles and sagging and stuff like that. I remember Frank. Do you guys remember Frank Layden?
No.
Was he? I thought he was like, he was the coach of the Jazz for a while, but then he was like a newscaster, or like a sportscaster here, and he lost a ton of weight and ended up kind of looking like a turtle, like on Robin Hood, the animated Robin Hood, that turtle with the glasses.
Oh, yeah.
He basically looked like that guy.
So, I think maybe we've talked about this guy before, but Ethan Suplee.
Oh yeah.
He's an actor. Cole, did we talk about this guy?
I don't know if we talked about him, but I'm familiar
So
with
he's
a little
you.
story.
You would definitely know him if you saw him. He was in Remember the Titans.
Yep.
He was in what was
Boy Meets
the
World.
I don't
Oh
want
yeah,
your life
he's Louis Lastic.
in what?
And Remember the Titans.
Oh, okay.
Is that his
He
name?
has been
Louis
Just the big-
Lastic, yeah.
the big giant guy in
Yeah.
like a bunch of movies. He was in American History X. He was in Mallrats.
Mhm.
Anyway, Homeboy lost a
Haha,
ton
you
of
dumb
weight.
bastard. That's not a schooner, it's a sailboat.
That's right. So he lost a ton of weight and isn't just like not heavy anymore. He like got freaking ripped.
Yeah, he's like ripped.
Yeah, he's like
But-
ripped.
Yeah, he's like ripped. But like some of these pictures, I'm wondering like,
See, his
okay,
skin
did
isn't
he
bad
get-
at all. He
Okay,
might-
but like look
you
at
can
his
tell,
gut though.
You can tell that he has extra skin on his gut, but like a lot of people, it hangs down like from their gut almost to their knees. Like a lot of these,
Yeah, and you can
because
see
he was
it in his
never
legs
that.
too.
He was never that big. He was like less than 400
Dude.
pounds. You know.
I don't know. Some of these pictures, he looks really
He's
big.
gotten up big, pretty big, but
He's pretty big, but like look up the My 600-Pound Life people.
no, yeah,
Like it's a whole different stratosphere, you know.
that's true.
Oh, dude, I just saw your question, Aaron. That's pretty brutal.
I'm just curious. I don't know. I almost said it on the podcast like 3 or 4 times, and I stopped myself, and I'm not going to
You're not gonna stop yourself.
Yeah, his
say it on the podcast.
like he's a great. It's crazy too because he has freaking abs. Like that's
Yeah,
Right.
like you can lose a lot of weight. Like you have to be you have to have such low body weight to have abs. Like it's not even a matter of having big muscles to have abs. You just have to. Yeah, so
I mean-
that's crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can tell like his pecs, right? His nipples are basically
Yeah.
like sagging down
Like
off of his
below.
pecs, right?
Oh, dude. They are.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
see,
he
even
was
that,
definitely over
like,
400 because he said he lost 250 pounds.
yeah,
It's
he
like
was really, he was really big. Well, he was
Like he
tall.
was a
He's
candle?
tall too.
He was a candle and he got like a little bit melted.
Yeah.
Yeah, like he
That's what
was.
he looks like.
No one lit his wick, but he was like out in the car for a while.
Oh, easy, Aaron.
Talking about candles getting melted.
Oh, okay.
You brought it up. Anyway, good for him, dude. He looks amazing, honestly.
Yeah, dude. And it's crazy. Like that's a hard, I don't know. Like I mean, we're talking about this as if I'm not a part of this, you know, community or whatever, but like it's such a fundamental, it's weird because with most addictions, like the ideal amount of meth is 0 meth, right?
Right.
Or cocaine or heroin or whatever, or even alcohol. Like not that like everybody should not drink alcohol, but nobody could argue that like never drinking alcohol
It's
is
good for you,
unhealthy.
yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
But
Right.
like for food, the healthy amount is some, you know, like
Right.
you can't just quit food. So it's like a pretty unique addiction. And I guess sex addiction is probably similar in that sense, but
Although you could
Again-
get down to 0 with sex too, and you'd be fine.
yeah, I mean, tell me about it.
You'd survive.
I was at 0
My
for like
Rodney
18
Dangerfield
years.
necktie.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, I was for like 20 some years.
I was for a time as well.
For a spell. But it's cool to like, cause it's really rare, like to go from being that big to like losing it all and sustaining it, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, right. Right.
That's so crazy. Phil, have you been to any concerts lately or played any?
Why is that funny?
I don't know.
I don't know. He's just changed.
I was just trying to think about something to say.
Okay.
Because I realized I don't think I had been to a show. I mean, obviously in like at least 2 years.
Yeah. I played that show that was a horrible disaster. Last like October, I think. And then that was the one show we had played in over a year, and then we have not played since then. I will say this: my area, as I'm sure both of yours, our numbers are much better than they've been in a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe that means shows this summer.
Yeah. NAM.
I mean,
come down to NAM.
I went to shows last summer too. I'm realizing I go to an unusually high number of concerts.
Yeah, I mean, I think some people just do.
Yeah.
No, I don't think you're like abnormally. I mean, more than the two of us, but not like an absurd amount or anything.
Yeah. For people that go to concerts.
Yeah. There's some people who just never go to concerts ever and don't want to.
But I
It's
also,
weird.
I knew I had a buddy when we were like 19 and, no money, right? We had no money. And every paycheck, he would go onto Ticketmaster and basically blow like his full paycheck every single time he got it on shows.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, dude, what are you doing? Like, you just got paid. Like, that's you're saying that you spent all of your money on 3 or 4 concert tickets. Like, now what?
Yeah.
You don't get paid for another 2 weeks. And he's like, well, I live at home. And I'm like, okay, but like freaking gas or whatever. Like,
That was how my manager, because when I worked at Graywell, that was like that we had Ticketmaster there,
Wait, what's Gray Whale?
The CD place. Sorry.
Oh, did you work at a record store?
But it was because I worked there right before college. And then my manager was like, 10 years older than me and working at a record store, riding his bike there and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it was almost like in my mind, it was like a cautionary tale because he was doing the same thing. And he was like in his 30s or something or late 20s.
whoa.
And he would go like onto the ticket just right there at work. We'd just be sitting there and he'd go on and buy a bunch of concert tickets. And it was like, and he was like super into Radiohead, which is also kind of like
Another red flag.
choose a better band to be obsessed with.
Cautionary tale.
Exactly. Cautionary tale.
I like Radiohead.
Yeah. But it's like when someone's obsessed with Dave Matthews Band, like, I don't know. Not that Radiohead's better than Dave Matthews Band, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, he was way too into Radiohead.
You want to hear a musical hot take?
Uh-oh.
Wonderwall. It's a really good song.
Is that a hot take, though?
I don't think so, but I think it needs to be said. I don't think it's said enough.
It is a very good song. I mean, it's like, it's
enough.
only a hot take for, like, jerks like us, right?
Right.
Who don't want to like stuff that everyone else likes.
Yeah. B movie, it's a pretty good movie.
But I think B movie is like recognized as not being a good movie, though, isn't it?
I'm sure. I have no idea.
Because wasn't it Jerry Seinfeld?
It
Yes.
was Seinfeld, yeah.
Which is like such a weird. They must have paid him so much freaking money.
Well,
Like, it has a
and-
49% on Rotten Tomatoes, so maybe that's not.
Okay, and the story I heard is that he pitched the idea. Like, he was like, so I got this idea for a movie
What's the deal with movie pitches?
with bees, and a bee falls in love with a human. Like,
Is that the story?
yes.
I've never
That's
seen it.
part of the freaking story.
Okay, here we go. Barry B. Benson, that's the name. Come on, guys. Try a little harder. An idealistic honeybee who has the ability to talk to humans has recently graduated from college and is about to enter the hive's Honex Industries honey-making workforce with his best friend Adam Flamen. Barry is initially excited to join the workforce, but his ambitious, insubordinate attitude emerges upon discovering that his choice of job will never change once picked. Later, the two bees run into a group of pollen jocks. Man. Bees who collect pollen from the flowers outside the hive and they offer to take Barry with them if he is bee enough. Like get it, like man enough.
Yeah.
On his first pollen gathering expedition in New York City, Barry gets lost in the rain and ends up on the balcony of a human florist named Vanessa Bloom.
Oh, wow.
Upon noticing Barry, Vanessa's boyfriend Ken attempts to squash him, but Vanessa gently catches and releases Barry outside the window, saving his life. And then Barry probably watches her creepily through the window.
No, he sues humanity for theft. This is what the movie's about.
When he and Vanessa are in the grocery store, let's see.
Here, check this out. Barry learns
he
that
decides
humans
to
have
journey
been stealing and eating honey for centuries, and he realizes that his true calling is to obtain justice for his kind by suing humanity for theft.
That might be fake.
That's a synopsis of B movie on
For long.
Rotten Tomatoes.
And because of that, it looks like
There
Barry
are
wins
clips
the
of him in
trial,
court.
exposing the jury to the torturous treatment of the bees, particularly the use of the smoker. Oh. But there's
I
that
thought
girl on
smokers were,
TikTok
like,
who does the
good, though.
beekeeping, and she's so nice.
Doesn't that just calm them down?
Yeah. Do you know who I'm talking
There was
about?
there was like a whole fiasco about that because there was this other beekeeper who was like kind of spoke out against the Texas bee lady and was saying like yeah, that's because she never like wears protective gear or whatever, and she says it's like, oh, it's because I only post like the really calm things or whatever. So this other girl was like said something about it, and like all the Texas bee ladies fans like went after this other girl, and she basically got
like
chased out of
Beyonce.
the beekeeping industry. It's wild. She like moved away from where she was and like had a breakdown and all this stuff on TikTok. It all happened like live on TikTok.
Okay, like let's be honest though. Well, do I even want to finish this?
Probably not.
Like, why is her channel so popular, Aaron? Texas Beekeeping.
Oh, well, yeah, because she talks nicely. I don't know. What do you?
Let
Well,
me
it's like
guess. Is she attractive?
She's just like very beautiful,
exactly.
right?
Yeah.
And I'm sure that whatever this other person's complaint was with her, I'm sure I can guarantee so many people were like, "You're just mad because she's better looking than you, so and she's more popular and blah blah blah," which is like that's a crappy thing to say to somebody, but also like that is partly why she's popular, right? That's the same thing as that. What's the big tortoise or the big turtle named Tiptoe? That's a tortoise, right? Have you seen that one?
Mm-mm.
I think she's mostly on Instagram, but it's like this big tortoise, and her and the handler is this cute girl or whatever. Anyways, I'm just tired of women having all these advantages,
Yeah, for real.
being beautiful and stuff.
Yeah,
Being
dude.
beautiful, and then like us normal, like regular guys, like we're just nice guys. And
Exactly.
why
Why aren't women
again?
attracted to me?
why aren't women attracted to me? I'm a nice
After
guy, and I don't
After
have
I
a
talk
motorcycle.
about my morbid obesity.
You don't have a motorcycle?
You do have a swimming pool.
No.
You don't have a motorcycle?
I have average size hands, and I'm very nice. I've got a good job. Why aren't women attracted to me?
I don't know.
Because you're old. It's probably age. Are you not going to go on
Are
a
you guys
shooting
gonna
spree,
watch
are you?
Batman? Are you going to see the Batman?
What is it? What Batman?
The Batman. It's a movie called The Batman.
Is it really called The Batman?
Yeah, it's Robert Pattinson as Batman. Are you not aware of this being a thing?
I don't know. It's hard to stay. I'm too busy trying to keep track of all the attractive women who have like random
It's being
hobbies.
released soon.
Random hobbies.
Keep-
It's called the internet.
That keep track of giant tortoises and bees.
Colin Farrell is the Penguin.
Dude, I
Paul
wonder if the
Dano
chick
is the Riddler.
like we got to hook up the Texas beekeeper lady with the lady from TLC who loves getting stung by bees so much, man.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dude, they should make like a Hostel, like a type movie about like a bee movie about that, but it's like just all the bees in the jars at this lady's house.
Or like
And
a
she's
saw.
like, she's like taking them out one by one with their tweezers. And that's just the whole
No, what they got to do They got to do a crossover episode with My 600-Pound Life and the Man versus Food. They got to have him take some of them to do the eating challenges, you know?
Dude.
That's also kind of funny to see how much weight that guy gained over the course of that show.
And then he got in really good shape. I think he gained a lot of it back, yeah.
Like Louis Elastic?
He went full endurance.
That guy got semi-canceled, I think.
Uh-oh.
From Richmond?
The Man versus Food guy?
Yeah. I forgot to bring it up last time when you guys brought that guy up. If you Google him,
he really does look like Adam.
He went from he went from 0 to 60 when I can't remember what the situation was. So I think somebody said something about his weight, and he went from 0 to 60 saying the most horrible, vile things.
He went some random,
to some random lady, and I guess he's done it more than once. Like when fans when he decides he's pissed off at a fan, he and it's public. Like he does it just on some open thread. He just says the absolute worst things, and then people are like, "Hey, you can't say that," and then he goes nuts on those people.
He apologized for inexcusable remarks on Twitter. Oh, yeah, dude. It's like a very different thing when somebody, it's one thing to have a secret thing come out.
See, this
where
is why
someone was recorded Twitter, saying something terrible. What are you saying?
This is why I don't have Twitter. I don't have to worry about getting canceled. I'm just kidding.
What did he say? He fired back his own, including one regrettable comment: grab a razor blade and draw a bath. I doubt anyone will miss you. Okay.
Whoa.
Which is yeah, that's rough, dude. You can't be saying that.
I mean, you can, but you probably ought not.
You ought not. Okay, here's another crazy thing. I don't know if you guys have been watching. I don't know if we have any fans of world politics in the room.
Ooh.
There's some things happening, but it's
the Olympics.
One thing that has been very interesting to see is that Twitter shut down basically every account that was coming from Russian IPs. Ooh. And it has changed Twitter quite a bit and has kind of exposed the fact that Russian bots were much more prevalent than anyone ever knew, or than a lot of people suspected. But a lot of the pro-Trump stuff is no longer you just don't see it as much anymore on Twitter because it was all Russian accounts.
And hear me out, maybe the left-wing Twitter media,
censoring,
while they were deleting Russian accounts, took it upon themselves to also delete all the pro-Trump American accounts.
They didn't delete them; they just can't post.
Did you ever think about that?
They shadow.
Did you ever think about that?
I did think about that.
Did you ever think about that's why?
Did you ever think about that's why? I don't know how to hear any more about tables.
The other day was the 10th anniversary of Who Do You Think You Are? I Am.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Oh, I missed that anniversary. I'm mad at myself,
dude.
That's what you get.
Oh, you know what? You know what else is coming up this year? 10-year anniversary of Coney 2012.
Oh, dude. Wow.
Wait a minute. What?
Yeah, that's
just
how
just
years
simple
work.
Was it summertime?
Yeah, or maybe it already happened. I'm sure somebody would have said something about it though, because it's Coney. Come on.
Make him famous.
Yeah, who do you think? It's weird to me that the Who Do You Think You Are? I Am is actually that recent. Because you watch a bowling clip and assume it's from the 70s or something.
Well, and his hair. There's there's a lot about it that seems.
Okay.
Who do you think you are? I am.
Okay, so the film, The Invisible Children. Remember The Invisible Children?
Oh, how could I forget?
The purpose is to make Ugandan cult leader. They came out in May. Oh, March. The film was released March 5th. Oh, it's in 4 days.
What?
Here,
March 5th of 2012 and spread virally.
This is what the dude had to say about. I know you're talking about Coney, but I'm still stuck on
Adam
who
Richmond.
do you think you are? I am.
Oh, nice.
He said. He said, being caught up in the moment of throwing the strike and being as excited as it was, I had a kid rooting against me during the match, and he was doing it loud enough for me to hear, and it kind of made me mad. And people know, don't make me mad on TV because I'll just get better. But what I really wanted to say was, who do you think you are rooting against me? I'm the man of this tournament. That's what I really wanted to say. But he just like skipped
Which is
all the
too
important
much
words. Yeah. So it just became, who do you think you are? I am.
Dude. Well, because honestly, that whole thing, that's like too many words, you know?
Yeah.
You can't get it out in a way that sounds cool. So, and weirdly, him botching it sounds better.
Yeah. Oh, that's amazing.
That's so good,
Who do you
dude.
think you are?
I love, and it's a freaking kid. It makes it so much better that it was a kid.
Yeah.
He's freaking yelling at he's an
gonna
old
be
man
heckled by some
bowling.
kid.
And people should know not to make me angry on TV. Like, everybody knows that.
Everyone knows. Yeah.
Not to make this random bowler guy angry on TV.
So wait,
That
so
is
this
right.
is
I did it. I number 5. Are you kidding me? That's right. Who do you think you are? I am.
so this is a Shooter McGavin scenario. Remember the dude that
Yeah.
got in his head? That
The
guy
with
wasn't
the
a
nail
kid.
in the nail in his head.
No, not
Yeah.
that one. It was the
Oh,
other
no,
guy
no.
that goes,
Okay, yeah.
"Hey, jackass."
You suck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They got in Happy's head.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
Sorry, you're right. It was the
Yeah,
nail.
Shooter
hired
paid him.
Yeah.
You're right. It was the
And
nail
then he
guy.
was like,
who
he
was
said we were
getting
going to
into-
go out and get some dinner, you know?
Yeah.
He thought he was going to become friends with Shooter McGavin.
Yeah.
He goes, the big dude, Jaws from, he's Jaws from,
Yeah.
Happy Gilmore accomplished that
007.
feat no less than an hour ago.
yeah, he goes, yeah, well, good for Happy Gil. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Play the ball as it
I
lies.
heard-
I had to hit the ball off Frankenstein's fat foot.
I heard that recently they were talking about doing a Shooter McGavin movie,
Oh, nice.
which please, I would love for them to write a Shooter McGavin movie.
Would it be played by the same guy? I guess.
I hope so.
or would it
like
be
his
set-
origin
'cause-
story?
Because if it was his origin story, they'd have to find a younger. It'd be
No.
like Batman, right? They find a new Shooter McGavin.
No. Here's what I need. I need it needs to be like Godfather 2. It's half current day and half flashbacks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Except in Godfather Part 2, the Godfather's dead. So
Spoilers, dude. Jeez. Freaking Godfather 2 spoilers.
sorry.
Don't say
I
sorry,
watched,
Aaron.
I watched all 3 of the Godfather movies on my rollers in my kitchen.
Oh, nice.
You know what rollers are?
Hmm?
Like bike
Dude.
rollers?
Yes. I already said.
Oh, sorry.
Which
When I
one
was
did
in
you like
college.
the best? Oh,
What's
I thought
that?
you meant like this week. I thought you meant like recently.
No, back when I was in the tiniest apartment in my kitchen that had carpet, mind you,
In the kitchen. Nice.
which is a weird thing. No disposal, no dishwasher, but it had carpet in the kitchen.
Yeah. That's weird.
I liked the second one the best, I think, if I remember right. First and second were really good. The third wasn't great, but I didn't
Third one's weird.
hate it. Everyone
Yeah.
talks about how bad it is, but it's just because the other two are really good, you know?
He's also, I don't even know if, like, I don't think the third one's available to stream in its original form. There's like a new edit of it that's out there.
So this was back in the days of like BitTorrent and stuff. So I was just BitTorrenting those fools and watching them on my laptop, you know?
Dang it. Mm-hmm.
I don't care.
I don't even care, dude.
I don't care about the law.
That makes me
You don't?
really want to watch The Godfather again.
It's pretty good.
It's really good.
It's a little bit violent.
Hmm.
It is, yeah. I can't wait to show my kids The Godfather.
Dude.
Cartoon.
My kids, oh, okay, here's a I can't believe we haven't, well, let's talk about it next episode.
All right.
Watched a movie
Sure.
with my children.
Oh wow, for the first time.
with never mind.
with Aaron's favorite actress and mine.
Oh,
my
Oh,
favorite
yes.
oh yeah.
Actor.
Excited
Did you
about
guys see the trailer?
this. Yeah, we'll talk about it on the next one.
Oh, okay.
And thanks for friendship.
And
Thanks for friendship.
And thanks for friendship.